what we've learned about technologies.
Yeah. Well,
We've learned a lot about technologies, I think it's fair to say.
The few months we've done this is we've learned quite a bit, as a whole, with the old camera work, all the different shots and that.
Editing.
Like match on action.
Editing was the most laborious task ever. I mean,
it was pretty,
Draining.
Yeah.
But let's start off with camera work because that was fun.
Yeah, we learned about the whole match on action thing, which actually helps.
It's a lot harder than you think.
Because you see it in like films and that they do it, you think nothing of it. But to be honest, in those films, they probably got 2 cameras doing it.
Yeah.
Because we've got to use one
so they
camera.
can actually just cut and then just carry it on. But
I think we must have done quite well because we did all the work. Then you look back at it, it's like a second worth of match on action, but
exactly,
it works well.
A second's worth of match.
I think our best shot of that was when Josh opened the door and then he walked through into the darkness. I thought that was really good, when we all stood in the piss. That's fun.
We were able to sort of take, as we used a lot of different camera shots over time, because we didn't just record one, we recorded it over a number of weeks because we constantly losing footage.
Didn't we used to 5 times?
We were able to the same areas, then had to move areas.
But we were able to use different things, look at what we did.
Yeah, it's like at the end of
the
end of the actual film where you see our character, the detective played by Josh, start running. You see him with the camera right in front of him, see it running, and then we move the camera to the side, so it's panning. So as he stops, you see it from him back to where the other character.
And that was unintentional, really. That was just like a spur of the moment thing. What we were going to do. It wasn't actually on the storyboard or anything.
I know, but I thought it was a good idea and it worked. And to be honest, it did work, and I was glad I thought of the idea.
Yeah, it was
after a few shots of just a few attempts of doing it, we sort of had better shots. There was low angle shots where we sort of preferred than other shots we could have done.
Yeah.
So over time, after about the 5th recording, we had we knew exactly what shot we needed to do. Obviously if it was a zoom or a close up and what.
Yeah.
We must have had about 8 hours of footage. It's unbelievable.
Another thing drawn upon the ending of that final shot was the first time we did it. When we were at one of the locations, the location that wasn't used in the final. It was the shot that we did with the whole panning of the character Josh stopping. It actually worked even better than it did before, because what I noticed, what happened was in the final one we did pan enough to get the other character Sophie in it, so
it was kind of rushed.
So it may have caused a little bit more confusion.
It worked well.
It did work well.
But the people who'd seen the old one would have known that the daughter was there.
Yeah.
But it's for people who haven't seen it. So
let's talk about Sophie falling over.
Oh,
that was interesting.
Yeah.
We probably spent about 2 hours of footage just filming Sophie falling over, and we realised there was not enough capabilities. However you move the camera around, you cannot make a fake fall look like a real fall. We realised
we tried getting her to fall like halfway, and then we moved the camera so in front of her, so we see her fall down. But
we introduced props like fake blood and everything to make it look realistic. It didn't help.
But the problem was with it was the fact that the whole continuity error, in the first one we did, you see her fall down on her left elbow, but then she gets up on her right. Yeah. So it's just
sort of a scarf.
The knees and the opposite. It didn't work. So we had
back to technology.
Yeah, back to technology.
We also learned about the limitations of filming in the dark, because we managed to get the light on the camera, didn't we? And then we were filming.
Then we got a different camera the next time we went for a reshoot, and I think it was the same lighting except it just didn't have the light on the front.
It's you can tell.
We've always had to use the same camera with all of it, or the best camera to use the job.
The first time we filmed when it was dark,
so you can really see the difference between.
Helped towards the film, and then next time it's you could, as we progress up the stairwell, to start with you could see a little bit. The time we got to level 3, it was just pitch black. You can see anything, no matter how much natural light we tried to get into the shot from whatever.
So basically we've learnt the limitations of camera work, or
and
just environmental
things
like the wind as well.
The
horrendous.
We tried the
covering up.
Trying to mute it or whatever, but it didn't really work.
Probably why people would use boom mics and stuff.
Yeah,
we did try that. It didn't really work too well, did it? We tried it, but you couldn't put it on and make it sound realistic.
Another thing about a whole topic under this that we've probably learned a lot about more would be the titles. You know, because we've actually
what's a good thing to do and what's just a no-go when you're doing titles.
It's because we know that if you put too much writing on the titles, it just doesn't.
And it will write off the page.
Exactly. So we had to try and
your audience to get bored of reading. I mean,
what we were going to try and do was make it shorter and put in like the whole thing by like say the media students, but it didn't work because it was too long.
And so it didn't look professional either. It just looked like a bodge job.
So that's why we tried to compensate for it and actually put like two names on the same time but with different things. So like we had Joe here and Peter on the ones under editing because they were the ones who did probably the most editing, and then you got Spencer, the one who did the storyboarding, which without him the idea wouldn't have been able to be done. And with me with the whole camera work, with the ideas, what we could actually do on the actual day, which. You know, helped a lot.
Also with the titles, we kind of learned when we were doing it, like how long. It's like if you have it for too short, people would be like, "Wait, what was that? What did that say?" But if we have it for too long, it just becomes obnoxious. People are like, "All right, I've seen it now. Speed up a bit." So you had to try and get the good blend between people being able to read it and being snappy and they understand it, and for people between and people going, "Well, I don't want to stare at these people's names anymore. Hurry up."
For instance. Even though it's not just names, who doesn't get bored by reading the Star Wars intro?
Yeah. Oh, I don't.
I mean, for goodness sake.
You know,
if we titles, I just want them to hurry up because sometimes it just goes on forever.
But if it's like one that's all dramatic and like Star Wars and that, you want to just
we did experiment to make it not so boring, putting the titles over the top of the actual filming and
then it's just distracting.
The image is distracting.
Because you can't focus on both at the same time.
Exactly.
Also, some of the clips that we used were quite bad continuity, so the titles actually masked our failures in a way, and it kind of made it look more polished, even though the clips weren't actually that great to start off with.
Yeah.
I think the splicing between the titles and the office scene, rather than having it worked really well compared to just having the titles in succession.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to refer back to the editing about what we actually did the black and white, and when we made the Sin City effect by actually making like colour into black and white, which I have to say
YouTube is the greatest thing of all. You type in anything, it will tell you how to do the effects.
That's how we looked out there, which was very, very useful. It took a while to actually do, and there are a few glitches in it. You see. In some points,
you can see a bit of colour in one bit,
and like when the hand is put on the rail, you see the purple like arm. But if you notice carefully, there is actually purple on the rails
and on the door as well.
When the door gets open, so we tried to minimise the collateral damage as possible.
I think like a better technology program, sort of like a more high tech one, would obviously take that out straight away.
But it's not too noticeable, and it's quite a good effect to be using.
And the fact that it's only like for half a second, so you wouldn't really notice it. You'd see the more dominant colour, which is the more purple.
Because we wanted to use it to like emphasise the kidnapper, didn't we? But I'm not
sure that he's like a different
the audience or not.
I'm not too sure if it did, but
I used them a bit.
Well,
you don't really notice the purple on the bar if you watched it in like full screen, full quality.
Yeah, we did try to change the purple into red because connotations of red like danger and evil and everything. But it was really difficult to do that because you have to change the luminous settings.
I think the shade of purple on the jacket was quite like prominent when you only saw a little bit of purple on the railing, so it was obviously more. You could obviously, when you saw it, your eyes suddenly go to the big purple jacket.
Yeah. So that's what we're saying. Your eyes are distracted by the bulk of the colour rather than the minority of the colour.
Definitely.
We've seen how we learned it in about 10 minutes and then did it, and it came out quite well.
Yeah.
I think
it was a nice spur of the moment thing brought on by Pete's idea of the whole Sin City effect.
That's the Pleasantville effect as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
Film where
Pleasantville where it's like slowly black and white slowly brought into colour with different people being colour and other people being black and white, which actually worked quite well with us. So yeah.
I think another problem as well, which was a huge problem, was actually getting the footage off the camera onto the computer. It took hours and hours, didn't it?
It did.
Especially when we were using video tapes.
Rendering.
Yeah. Once we had to like render the whole thing, we put it in rendering and it said was it approximate time like 2 hours.
Yeah, and you can't really do that.
And we had
an hour and a half lesson.
And we knew that it would run over and that we couldn't do anything on the computers. In fact, we couldn't do anything because if we went on the computers and actually just started doing other things just to pass the time away,
And you couldn't even do any work on a blog.
Exactly.
But you just got to kind of wait. I guess
So
that's one
sit around.
downside
So,
of
yeah.
technology.